Now, Bharat has summoned Bangladesh's Deputy High Commissioner Nural Islam earlier in the day after tensions arose at the border. This development comes after Bangladesh Foreign Ministry expressed concern with Bharat. The Bangladesh Acting High Commissioner to India, Nural Islam, was summoned by the MEA to the South Block. It was conveyed that with regard to the security measures at the border, including on fencing, Bharat observed all protocols and agreements between the two governments and between the Border Security Force and the Border Guard Bangladesh. Now, India has reiterated its commitment to ensuring a crime-free border by effectively addressing the challenges of cross-border criminal activities, smuggling, movement of criminals and trafficking. Barbed wire fencing, border lighting, installation of technical devices and cattle fences are measures for securing the border. Bharat has conveyed its expectation that all earlier understandings will be implemented by Bangladesh and that there will be a cooperative approach to combating cross-border crimes. And there's more. A second exclusive news break on how radicals are actually running the show in Bangladesh now after the ouster of Sheikh Hasina. They are forcing the Bangladesh government, the interim government, to even halt border fencing projects with Bharat. Top intel sources are telling CNN News 18 that the Jamaat-e-Islami is actually pressuring the Yunus-led government to halt these projects, and their cadre was seen on Sunday in protest. For Jamaat-e-Islami, open border is a major source of income and their establishments and settlements are seen very close to the border area. Secondly, Pakistan ISI's role is also crucial in these projects being halted. Pakistanis now have easy access into Bangladesh and they can use these open borders to enter Bharat and to not just criminalize eastern states and also West Bengal, but along with that, send in their radicals and their rabid ideology. There is a huge threat of the ISIS that also looms large, along with the Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent, very, very active. Now, they don't want even solar lights in this area so that they have no problem, A, in cattle smuggling, B, drug trafficking, C, infiltrating. Most important is to push illegal Bangladeshi into Bharat without any pressure, and ultimately that will work. They will end up working as sleeper cells for both the Jamaat and some of these rabid Islamist groups. Professor Brahma Chlani with us, and we also have Bikram Banerjee, activist working for the Bangladeshi Hindu. My namaste. Professor Brahma Chlani, thank you for staying on. But Bikram Banerjee, first coming to you on this, a serious issue. Now we are seen in this Sukhdevpur area, Malda region, some regions over in Tripura, there have been this activity. A large part, nearly 70% has already been fenced. It's this final 30% where the BJP are getting some help from this Jamaat cadre.
Yeah, so this is their bread and butter for smuggling, cow smuggling and other ecosystem. But more to that, I think they are trying to stop this fencing. There is even the bad design of mass scale increasing the attack on Hindu minorities. And if there is open border, this 30%, then it will trigger more and more Bangladeshi Hindus to come through this border and take refuge without any livelihood. If the border is secured, the psychology, and I was talking to many Bangladeshi Hindus, they don't want to leave their motherland. They want to stay there and they are brave and they want to fight this battle along with the international community and India, if we can provide necessary logistical, legal and moral support. So this is also not only supporting their keep opening the border, means supporting their economic and smuggling and other ecosystem ISIS agenda, but also to have a mass scale displacement of Hindus.
So that's another dynamic that leaves this open so that we can torment them, get them, force them to flee and push them over onto Bharat and again wipe out the minority in Bangladesh. Professor Brahma Chlani.
We have to keep in mind two things. One, the Yunus regime is beholden to the Islamists for two reasons. The so-called student revolution was really a revolution that was engineered by the Islamists. The various Islamist groups, especially the Jamaat-e-Islami's student wing, which is considered to be the largest non-governmental organization in the world, these groups played the central role in the overthrow of Sheikh Hasina's government. And today, the Yunus regime is in office because of these Islamist groups, and that's the reason why among the first decisions of the Yunus regime was to lift the bans on several of these Islamist groups, release their leaders from jail, including convicted Islamist leaders, including one guy who had been convicted for the murder of a secular blogger. So there is an appeasement policy that the Yunus government is pursuing for self-survival, because survival is dependent on these Islamists. So these Islamists are calling the shots without actually holding the reins of power. And the objective in preventing fencing is also largely geopolitical, which is that if you have you can use that open border to undermine India's purpose in preventing fencing is to keep that option open, to utilize that option as and when any opening is available, and to infiltrate Islamist radical India. This is the whole, and that's the reason why what India was doing was erecting barbed wire fencing on its side of the border. It requires no permission from Bangladesh. And yet, the Bangladeshi regime, which has no constitutional legitimacy or mandate, said today that this fencing is unauthorized. Unauthorized in what sense? India has every sovereign right to fence its border to prevent terrorists and illegals from entering India. That's its sovereign right. It doesn't need bilateral agreement on that issue. And yet, if the Bangladesh border guards opened warning shots at the workers who were erecting these barbed wire fencing to scare them away. And actually, they have brought the work to a stop. This is the unfortunate part of it, that through their threats and through their provocative actions, they have halted the work on the fencing. And we need to deal with the situation in a manner that sends a clear message to the interim regime in Dhaka that their tactics will not succeed.
No, and the fact is that it's all on tape, that our BSF guards are being attacked by some Lugoons and locals from the other side, and the BGB is also not doing much, and there is this brazen intimidation. But Bikram Banerjee, what is the solution? Should Bharat just continue to push and seal these borders totally? Should there be some show of force, use of force? See, because a lot of these lands are also on agricultural lands, and there is joint ownership, claimed ownership, and this territory keeps swinging based on the way the river changes course or direction. And I repeat, more than 4,500 kilometers of border, nearly 3,700 kilometers has already been fenced. Yeah.
So absolutely, there is no question of being any soft on these goons. Indian government and our border security forces go ahead with the fencing, and if needed, gun these goons down. Even if it makes international news. India is a sovereign country. India is putting their border in their own in our own land. Who the hell these goons have the guts to come and block this? And I think if we go soft, this will embolden these Islamist mindset. So there is no question of being soft. Actually, go hard on that. And government should go ahead and also talk in diplomatic level. But there is no question of talking to this regime. This is illegitimate regime, have no control, or they pretend to control something, but they are actually a hand in glove with these Islamists just to stay on power. Another thing is that a lot of the established political parties, whether it's Awami League or BNP, they don't want Awami League to be coming into the political space in the democratic process. The Yunus is trying to delay tactics. He wants to stay in power. He doesn't want to do any election. So all of these is part of that toolkit, and India should go ahead and create go ahead with the fencing its own border. I want to add one thing. This is
Sure.
a global ecosystem. Jamaat has connections in British MPs. And it's a story you might have heard, but I'm breaking this news. MP Rupa Haq, who from Iling, she visited, and she is from Bangladesh, recent hand in glove with Jamaat Islami. She visited Bangladesh very recently, beginning first week of January. And there was a news and published news. She met Yunus. And after that, there was a secret meeting with Jamaat. And also, I have confirmed information. She met Govinda Pramanik, who is the Hindu discredited Jamaat agent who always side with Jamaat and Yunus. She did not visit any of the victims or any of the authentic organizations like both those Sikh, Hindu, Mahajot, and all these organizations. Their representative sent email to the author, and there was a later article published in Inside UK-based website. We challenged Rupa Haq, and we are going to ask why she did not visit the victims. She has a duty of care, being a British MP, and from the Bangladesh origin. She did not visit, and she is actually Hindu-phobic. She was suspended for making racial comment against superficially black and suspended by Labour Party in 2022. She again got elected in 2024, but we need to take this case. Now, what happening is these people, these MPs are going there, coming back, feeding the government wrong information and legitimizing all the acts and saying all the attack that is happening in Bangladesh, all these ill practices are all wrong. So this is Rupa Haq.
There are also elements that you're saying who are embedded elsewhere across various parts of the world, especially in the West, who are also helping create this entire narrative that allows this Yunus as the face and this interim establishment controlled by the radicals to continue to ply their wares as they are. For the moment, we are more concerned about what's happening at our borders and this entire steady influx of illegals coming in, pushing in, which the army chief also earlier in the day in his briefing confirmed that there has been an influx and an increase in this influx that needs to be stemmed. Professor Brahma, Chlani, Bikram Banerjee, thank you for your thoughts. We're going to take a very short break, pause here on the right stand on that note. When we come back, the matters turn political on the biggest spiritual conglomeration or confluence on earth. This is humanity coming in huge numbers at the Triveni, and there is a Mahasangram over the Mahakumbh. Stay with us.